I just got home. It seems you're not at home. Are you still out?
Yeah, it's going to take a little longer. I'm out shopping for clothes.
I see. Then I'll wait for you at home.
Sorry, I thought you would be eating dinner with your parents, so I took my time shopping. I didn't think you'd be back so soon.
That was the plan, but my mom said she has to get up early tomorrow. Plus, the weather started to get bad, so we broke up early.
The weather is bad now? It was sunny around noon.
Didn't you notice? It's pouring rain and there's a typhoon-like wind blowing.
I see. I didn't notice because I've been inside a building all the time.
It seems to be getting worse, so I decided to go home and postpone the meal for another time.
That must have been disappointing. But you were able to see the kabuki as planned, right? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, both of them looked really happy. They also seemed satisfied with the eel we ate for lunch. It was a bit expensive, but it was worth it.
Eel, huh? Did you go to a long-established restaurant?
Yes, indeed. I had researched a restaurant where we could eat delicious eel. They were really happy.
You're great, you know.
What is?
You regularly do something for your parents. It seems like you often send delicious things to my parents as well. Everyone must be pleased. You really are thoughtful.
We have to express our gratitude to those who take care of us, to both my parents and your mother and father. If that makes them happy, it makes me happy too.
I'm not that thoughtful, though. I only think about myself.
Well, why don't you occasionally take them on a trip or something? Your mother-in-law and father-in-law would be delighted. You said you've never traveled with your parents, right?
Well, that's true, but I might pass on that.
Why so? It would be nice to have your first family trip.
I feel lazy about traveling with my parents, and it's embarrassing.
It's purely a gift. In extreme terms, you don't have to enjoy it that much. The purpose is to make them enjoy it.
But imagine giving a trip as a gift out of the blue. I'd be teased. What's the sudden idea?
Really? But who cares if you are?
That's not good. It might be fine for a daughter, but for a son, it's embarrassing to do such things.
I don't think it matters whether you're a son or a daughter. If you're embarrassed, should I say, that we're giving them a trip as a gift.
But, well, we'll consider a trip at some point. Making reservations and such is a hassle.
Oh, stop being so lazy. You never know if your parents will be there when you want to show your filial piety.
Well, that's true. If I feel like it.
Our parents are getting old, you know. Right now, both sets of parents are healthy, but if they get sick, their strength will decrease. By the time you start talking about such things, it might not be a situation where you can go on a trip.
I know. I'll think about it.
I'm going to take a half day off and go to my parents' house this afternoon. I don't think I'll make it back for dinner, so could you sort it out yourself?
Your parents' house? What happened? Did something happen?
My dad has been hospitalized.
Why? Injury? Illness?
He felt bad last night and seems to have gone to the emergency room, and he was admitted. I'm surprised that my energetic dad is in the hospital.
So? Is your dad okay?
It seems he's okay for now. He can be discharged in 2 to 3 weeks.
That's a relief. I was surprised.
There's no life-threatening situation and probably no after effects, but I'm going to visit him anyway. I want to see him and reassure myself.
I don't think I can get the day off today. I won't be able to visit after work, right?
That's fine. It's not a life-threatening illness. We'll go together on the next holiday.
But I'm sorry. Please convey my regards.
Got it. Oh, by the way, I think I'm going to be commuting to my parents' house for a while until my dad is discharged. My mom can't drive, right? The hospital he's admitted to is far away, so it seems hard for her to visit.
That's tough. I don't mind. Is your part-time job okay?
When I discussed it, they said it was fine to finish at 2 p.m. for a while. In exchange, I have to start earlier in the morning.
It's good that your workplace is flexible.
It's because it's a part-time job. But I might neglect housework because of the hospital visits. Sorry.
It can't be helped. But the timing is a bit off.
Timing? Did something happen?
Actually, I was thinking of taking my parents on a trip soon.
Really?
I was thinking of taking them on an overseas trip, but it overlaps with the timing of your dad's hospitalization.
That's sudden. And it's overseas?
If we miss the time, my parents will get busy and won't be able to go. So if we're going overseas, now is the only time, which is why I decided in a hurry. But I never imagined your dad would be hospitalized. It's disrespectful to go on a trip at such a time.
But you finally decided to take them on a trip, right? You were saying it's a hassle.
Yeah, you said it too, didn't you? You never know when you can show your filial piety.
You did say that.
Those words crossed my mind. In fact, hearing about your dad like this makes me realize it. There's no such thing as a person who never gets sick, and life is unpredictable.
That's true. If we miss this chance, we may never get to go.
We don't know when my parents might collapse. Even your dad, who loves mountain climbing and is so energetic, gets sick. If it happens to my parents, they might lose the strength to go on a trip once they get sick.
That might be true. Go ahead without worrying about us. I can't go, but it should be enough if you go with them.
Are you sure? I could let my parents travel alone, but...
If it's just the two of them going overseas, they'll be anxious. You should go with them. My father isn't that serious, so you don't have to worry about us.
That's great, thank you. Then I'll go. I'll buy lots of souvenirs.
A family trip overseas sounds wonderful. It'll surely be a good memory. Please make sure your mother-in-law and father-in-law have a lot of fun. You know, my father passed away.
What? Your father? Why?
He deteriorated suddenly this morning. By the time my mother and I rushed there, he was already...
What? This is too sudden.
We're all disoriented.
Are you okay? Keep your composure. How's your mom doing?
She was frantic just a while ago, but she's calmed down considerably now. She seems to be contacting the funeral home. I have to start notifying relatives.
This is too sudden. I thought he would be discharged in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yes, so the funeral will likely be the day after tomorrow. Can you come back?
No, it'll be difficult. The flight time is over 10 hours and the weather's been bad for the past few days. I hear that the flights have been cancelled. Even getting a ticket might be doubtful, so I don't think I can return anytime soon.
So you can't make it to the funeral?
I guess. I'm sorry.
I see. Well, it can't be helped. You're overseas, and if the planes are cancelled, you can't rush back.
It must be unnerving to be with your mom alone. It's sudden.
We're likely to get a lot of help from relatives here, so it'll be okay. I have a cousin who works at a funeral home, so we can probably get a lot of advice.
I see. Well, that's a relief.
This ruins the trip, huh? Sorry to put a damper on your good mood.
No, I'm the one who's sorry. I'm really sorry that I can't be there for you in this difficult time. I shouldn't have gone on a trip. But I'll do my best to come back as soon as possible.
This was something that no one could have predicted.
But I feel sorry for your father. I wasn't there in his last moments, and I can't even attend his funeral.
It can't be helped, because until yesterday my father was fine. Everyone thought he would be discharged, just as the doctor said.
I can't believe things like this happen. Really, you never know what will happen in life.
That's right. That's why I think you were right to go on the trip. We've learned the hard way that we never know what's going to happen.
Maybe. If something happened to my parents in the future and I hadn't taken them on the trip, I might have regretted it for the rest of my life. At least I was able to do some filial piety with this trip. You're right. I'm glad we went on the trip. Are you okay over there? I'm sorry I couldn't make it to the funeral.
It's okay. The funeral went well thanks to the help from our relatives. I need to thank the relatives who helped us. Yes, be sure to express our gratitude.
Oh, I was finally able to get a ticket. It seems the planes are moving again. I'll be back on the first flight tomorrow morning. I'll also help with the procedures afterwards.
What? You got a ticket? No, don't come back. Please continue your trip.
Hey, what are you talking about? You don't have to worry about that. I couldn't even attend the funeral, so I'm coming back right away.
I'm not trying to spare your feelings. I'm seriously saying you don't have to come back.
Huh? What's wrong? What do you mean I don't have to come back? Are you angry about something?
There's no place for a guy who's enjoying an affair trip to come back.
What? An affair trip? What's that about?
You're having an affair with Grace, who was your classmate in middle school, aren't you? Is an affair trip between married people fun?
No. Seriously, what are you talking about?
What kind of filial piety is that? You're such a liar. I can't believe you can tell such a lie.
It's not a lie.
Really? Then why were your father and mother at my father's funeral?
What?
They attended the funeral, both of your parents.
What? Why?
That's my line. When I asked them about the trip, both of them were stunned. They said they hadn't been proposed any trip.
Hold on a second. Why were my parents at the funeral?
Did you think I wouldn't know unless you told me? You're out of luck. Your parents heard about my father's death from an acquaintance. We've known each other since childhood, and we have many mutual friends. They must have heard from someone even if we didn't contact them.
Really?
It's not really. You need to explain first.
Why? About Grace?
I checked your tablet, and there I could confirm the reservation details on the travel site's My Page, and Grace's name was written under the traveler's name.
The password?
It was saved in the browser. These days are so convenient.
I see.
You can't deny it anymore, can you? Exactly. Grace's parents also know about the affair trip.
No way. Why?
There were friends who were mutual between Grace and me at the funeral. I asked them for Grace's parents' phone number, so I reported it to them. Grace is also married, so it's hard for her too, right? Tell that stupid woman there that her husband found out about the affair trip. Are you listening? Grace's parents have contacted Grace's husband. So you guys are already exposed.
What about my parents?
They're furious. They apologized to me in tears. Making your parents bow their heads instead of being filial. Aren't you ashamed? You're truly pathetic.
No, that's because I never thought it would be exposed.
So if it wasn't exposed, it's okay to betray someone. You're truly the worst. Really, you don't have to come back. Or rather, can you come back? The story of your affair trip is already spreading.
Spreading? To what extent?
Throughout our hometown. It seems like all the friends and relatives who came to the funeral are talking about it.
This is the worst.
What? The worst is on my side. My father died suddenly. And on top of that, my husband ditched his funeral and was having an affair. And he even lied to me in the worst way possible. So many shocking things have happened in succession that it doesn't feel real.
I'm sorry, but I was planning to come back. Just that the plane. I'm really sorry.
That's also a lie. I checked about your local airport and there were no canceled flights.
Huh? You checked?
Of course. You weren't unable to come back immediately. You just didn't want to come back. You didn't want to interrupt your trip.
It's not like that. I had a high-end dinner reservation on the day of the funeral. It was a restaurant that was hard to book. I thought it would be a waste to cancel.
So the dinner was more important than my father's funeral? You're really the worst. I'll prepare the divorce papers here. Please take your time.
Divorce papers. Let's calm down a little.
Once the trip is over, the fun time is over. Be prepared.
I'm sorry I lied. But for me, it was meant to be the last memory.
Huh?
I was planning to break up with Grace. I thought having an affair was wrong, but I wanted to create a last memory.
What are you trying to say, like it's a beautiful story? It's disgusting. What do you mean, the last memory? We're the ones who were going to break up.
I'm really sorry for missing the funeral.
You're a liar.
It's not a lie. I didn't expect your father to pass away. So I didn't think something like this would happen.
My father's death and your affair have nothing to do with each other. Either way, divorce is divorce.
Wait. Please spare me that. I don't want to break up.
Oh, is that so? Is that also a lie?
No. This is my true feelings. I don't want to divorce you.
Until yesterday, I didn't think I wanted to divorce you either. But now, all I can think about is wanting to divorce. Maybe my dad was trying to tell me to dump you. Really, you never know what will happen in life. After that, a family meeting was held involving both our families as soon as my husband returned from overseas. It was more like a trial than a meeting. Even though the funeral was over, my husband remained in a funerally mode throughout. Apparently, his affair partner also had a big argument with her husband after she returned. As I had declared to my husband, I chose to divorce him and received compensation from him. Of course, from his affair partner as well. Thus, both our marriage and the affair partner's marriage ended in divorce. The incident where my husband and his affair partner skipped my father's funeral for their affair trip became infamous in our hometown. The two of them were ridiculed and gossiped about just walking around town, and even got lectured by elderly people they passed on the street. With all these incidents, they eventually disappeared from our hometown. I have no idea what they are doing or where they are now. I feel like my father revealed my husband's affair for me. After the sudden loss of my father, the revelation of the affair further drained me. Now that things with my husband are settled, I plan to mourn my father in peace.